Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to be going over some just stuff I want to talk about relating to Flash, Crisis, pretty much the Arrowverse in general. If you have not seen Flash, 704, Crisis, all of it, don't watch this video. I don't... I would assume if you're watching this video, you watch Crisis. If you've seen Season 7, you should have watched Crisis. So yeah, I'm going to be going over all that. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below. Subscribe button is what we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers in 2021. We are under 300, close to that goal. So if you want to get us closer to that 1,000 goal, and you're new, hit the subscribe button. I pretty much do this content weekly by now. Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. So if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, share it, and hit the subscribe button if you're new. Thanks. So, in 704, it was basically about post-related timeline changes related to Crisis. And there were a bunch of names dropped during the Flash, like Oliver, Mia, Laurel, and other names, obviously, but those are the main ones. And the main ones I'm saying this because I want to bring something up that really was changed, that was especially changed with Abracadabra and the future of the Flash. Now, I theorized that this Crisis that we got last year for the crossover was supposed to be the crossover that Barry's supposed to die, but because he didn't, that Crisis was then moved up to 2024 when he was originally supposed to die. We're in the original timeline now, instead of the future one. I was wrong. That was the Crisis where Barry's supposed to die. But obviously Oliver took Barry in Kara's place, and Abracadabra lost his family because of it. And the timeline changed, which we knew because of Crisis. But it's something I want to point out. If I want to just think for a minute, what if Oliver actually just ruined everything? I'm not saying, the Monitor didn't know this or Oliver didn't know this. Because they couldn't. They couldn't know that, if Oliver dies, everything's going to be screwed up in the end. But it kind of is all screwed up. I mean, Abracadabra got sent there because Oliver died. If Oliver didn't die in Crisis and it was Barry, Abracadabra wouldn't have come back. Tyler would have been intact. Honestly, there probably wouldn't even be an Earth Prime. He'd still probably be on Earth 1. And there's will be an Earth 2, or 3, or 4, whatever. But because from that first hour of Crisis, when Oliver died, that changed the timeline, and everything got in motion. You should know all that by now. But what I want to talk about is, will we see Barry die in the future? As Abracadabra said, Barry is soon to be set on the future. Now, Abracadabra didn't say what I'm about to say. Look back at Season 3, which this episode was pretty much related to Season 3, at least with a lot of flashbacks from it, showing that pre-Crisis was basically post-Crisis timeline Season 3, where Barry was set on the future, saving Iris, protecting her from Savitar, stopping Savitar in the end, and that was really the only season where we knew that Barry was obsessed with the future. So you would have to think this is relating to Barry's death. And assuming Barry's alive in 2024, which we know he is, thanks to Abracadabra, I'm pretty sure, because the timeline changed. And you have to think the timeline has changed a lot since we've seen Abracadabra. We had Nora come back. We stopped Cicada, which never happened in the future. Crisis happened, which is a major timeline jump. And also, Barry stopped Savitar. Savitar doesn't exist anymore because, as pointed out in Season 3 of The Flash, Barry never goes down that dark old road, losing Iris, becoming Savitar, creating time remnants to fight Savitar, loses, and that one time remnant goes crazy, creating himself as the first ever speedster, becoming the fastest, and going through that whole timeline. He never does that. So there's so many time loops that Abracadabra has gone through that we don't really see. Now, I'm not saying we know it's because of Crisis that Abracadabra lost his family. But what I want to point out, was Oliver's death really worth it? Which is a question in the title, which I pretty much clickbaited a little bit. I think his death was worth it, because if you think about it, if Oliver didn't die, twice, I may add, then there literally wouldn't be an Earth. Now, you could argue, oh, Oliver died, he screwed up the whole multiverse, he screwed up the timeline, everything. But he changed Barry's future, which is, again, another question in the title. Has Barry's future changed? Yes, he would have died in 2019. He didn't. Or maybe 2020? I don't know. But he would have died in either or. And he didn't. So, like I said earlier, do I think he'll die in the future? Yes. He's supposed to die in the future. If he doesn't, then what the hell? But the thing is, the writers have been teasing that Barry will die in the future during some crisis, and I'm expecting them to do what they did in the comics, where Barry becomes that lightning bolt that gives himself in the past his speed, and then it creates a whole time loop where Barry makes himself become the Flash. Future Flash creates past Flash. But in Crisis, we didn't really see that, because 90s Barry Allen died. Now, you can argue, oh, that Barry Allen turned into Lightning Bolt that struck past Barry Allen, becoming the Flash. But then you have another time loop, which then introduces the fact, what if Barry dies in the future? There's going to be two Flashes in multiple timelines, and none of them would add up. I know that didn't come out right, but hopefully you know what I mean. Our Barry, when we get to the future point, will more than likely die so the timeline can be fixed. I'm not saying he's going to kill himself. I'm not saying he's going to permanently try to die. I'm saying if Barry doesn't die in the future, like around 2024, when he was originally set to, but because my theory was correct, and yes, I'm going to say it was correct, everything is happening 4 years earlier. We saw that with Crisis. We saw that with Thawne. Barry became the Flash 4 years earlier. Really, the only difference is Barry Allen didn't die in 2020. It was the 90s Barry. Which you could go into a bunch of theories on that. I truly do believe that if Oliver didn't die, then we probably wouldn't have all these problems on Earth Prime. I think Oliver's death was 100% worth it. It's just the ending that happened with it wasn't good. Like with Kadabra, with Barry, with Team Flash, all of it. Everything on Earth Prime's kind of going to hell right now. And it's not Oliver's fault that he died, because the Monitor, basically setting him up to it, saying that Oliver would die in Crisis, and we learned pretty early on how early that was in Crisis. But you also learned that the Monitor didn't see this coming. Well, you also have to consider what else did the Monitor see. We know he's still kicking around because of the Arrow finale, so I would like the Monitor to come back just so they can explain what will happen to Barry. But I truly, truly, truly believe that in the future, when Abracadabra said Barry's obsessed with seeing the future, with knowing what's going to happen, that is more than likely because Barry's going to die. I don't think they're going to go down that road of, oh, Iris is going to die, or, or Joe, or Cisco, or Kate, or Camilla, or whoever, someone on Team Flash, and they're going to drag that out their whole season. I love season 3. I love the whole Iris, Savitar threatening Iris storyline that went on throughout the whole season. That was what it deserved. There should have been that. But I think them going down that road a second time, pushing their luck even more with what they did in season 6, I don't think that would be a good idea. And it would make more sense to me if they did the Flash death, where Flash dies or he vanishes, whatever, and that goes into the finale, and then we more than likely get a sad ending, and Barry and Iris are pretty much done, kinda ish. And we get future flashbacks seeing Nora more than likely, I would assume. But yeah, we do know the Flash Museum's in the future. Obviously, we saw that. We didn't really hear anything of Barry in the future, besides we know he's obsessed with it. Which I think we can all agree he is alive in the future, because Oliver died. Which again leads to the question, when's Barry gonna die? If he will. He might not. I mean, we don't know if Kara's gonna die in the season 6 finale. We're all expecting her to. But will she? I mean, they have to play it smart. As I said in my one of my Supergirl videos I did, either they kill her off or they send her away. And if they send her away, it has to be a pretty damn good reason other than kryptonite in the air, like the same with Mon-El. Because Superman and Lois is on Earth Prime. So they have to look at that show. Now, the good thing about The Flash is they don't have a spin-off show, like for Kid Flash or whatever. And I would be really surprised if there was. Maybe there would be one for Cisco. I don't know. I honestly think if there would be a spin-off show, it wouldn't likely be for Kid Flash or Cisco, like call it Vibe or something. I don't know. But it would definitely be something along those lines. Because there are definitely storylines they can do with Wally and all that. It's just up to the actors if they really want to do it. But every show, Arrow, Black Lightning, Supergirl, they're all going to have backdoor pilots. Arrow had a backdoor pilot with Green Yellow Canaries. Supergirl's going to have a backdoor pilot with Dreamer in the final episodes. Black Lightning is having their backdoor pilot next week with Black Lightning. 407 in their final season, hopefully to get Painkiller picked up as a spin-off show. It's a common thing now. So I really do believe if season 8's the last season of The Flash, which we don't know yet, there'll more likely be a backdoor pilot for some show sometime, don't know when, but it'll be towards the end of the season. So, yeah. But like I keep saying, I do think Barry's going to die in the future. It's just the question is when will he die? And like I said, we don't really know that. And honestly, we probably won't know that till next season, if that. I mean, we know we won't get Oliver back, obviously. He might show up for, past scenes. I think it was confirmed that, at least Steven confirmed it, that if they asked him to come back for a flashback or whatever, he would. And I think they're going to take full advantage of that when it comes to Flash's final season. But, yeah. I think that's pretty much everything I want to go over. But, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Do you think Barry will die in the future? Do you think his timeline has changed for the 15th time? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you're new. And thanks for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you guys when I upload next. Bye, guys.